Hey guys, Heidi Easley here at Texas Art and Salt, and I have my friend Julie here who has taught over 500 paint parties. I am not exaggerating that number. We're going to get all into that and much more. So if you want to just say hi to Julie, she's actually the one who shared this painting that I did earlier today. So Julie, welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be chatting with you guys today.
Oh, and I just love your hat. Do y'all love her hat? Please do a heart or a yes. I just love it. I feel like I want to go get one now because I always wear the ball caps, but I feel like I might need one of those now.
Well, I joke that I look like I'm, trendy and fashionable, but it's just a really good way to cover up kind of greasy roots. So
You
that's
know, Julie, I'm the same way. Anytime I start to have like too much roots or I don't want to do my hair, you will see me in hats and braids. That's where it is. So we have some people logging on. Go ahead and say hi. Hello, Tammy. Hey, everybody. So Julie has taught over 500 paint parties. Tell us your business name and then let's get right into it. I want you to share a little bit about when you started paint parties because you just did a party of 30, 2 nights ago? Or was
yesterday.
That yesterday. Okay, so what is your business name? And let's share a little bit about your business.
So my business name is Paint Party with Julie. I just try to keep it simple. And I really sell the experience. So when you come paint with me, you'll know what you get. And it's a good time, lots of laughs, low stress, and just focusing on enjoying the artistic process. I'm actually in Montana now, but I'm originally from Sacramento. And back in Sacramento, I was hired on to work with a paint party franchise and got a lot of great experience, taught right under, I think I was right under 300 paint parties before I moved. So I was right there and had a ton of experience. And not to brag, but I was one of the top rated artists in Northern California. So
Dang.
yeah. And so, like I said, not to say that I'm the best, but I knew that I was good at what I did. I knew that when people came to paint with me, they'd have fun. I knew how to answer their questions. I knew how to keep the energy up, the fun going. And then so my husband and I decided to move to Montana, and I was like, well, I'll just do what I know I can do. So came out to Missoula, decided to start my own paint party business, and kind of fell on my face. I knew I could provide a fun experience, but I had no idea how to reach out to restaurants, how to market myself, even how to make a PayPal button for my events. And then guess what? This beautiful blonde lady popped up on my Facebook feed, and the rest is history. But that's my story in a nutshell.
I love that. Well, okay, so everybody's like, yeah, Julie's a rock star. Yes, definitely. I love that, Terry. Yeah, here's the thing I want y'all to know about Julie is she knows her stuff. Like she is amazing. And I wanted to bring her on here because, and let us know in the comments okay, so I so wish I would have written down, like done a tally just to know how many paint parties I've done because when you start getting into this business and you start, going pretty fast, I mean, I just never kept track. But I would love to know about how many I've done. So if you kind of know how many you have done, if you would put it in the comments, I would love to see it. And then Julie, I know you really have a passion and you're really using your paint parties and your experience to do some cool stuff. So I wanted you to share that if you don't mind.
Oh, I would love to. First off, I always try and keep perspective that I get to do what I love. I've always been artistic. I kind of joke it's part of my DNA just as much as, I have freckles and I can't help that. Being an artist is just a part of who I am, and I love it and I'm passionate about it and I love to share that with other people, and being able to have my income, my career, my job be doing what I love and sharing that with other people. I always try and keep that in perspective because how blessed are we that we get to do what we love and also make a living at it, and a pretty good living at that as well. And because I've done paint parties and I know how to, lead a crowd through an art project, and how to, just make sure that people are at ease, I have taken those skills and have had wonderful invitations to go and do art classes with some ladies in recovery. I go once a month and we do different, sometimes we just do art time. I just take art supplies and, blast, awesome worship music. And sometimes I lead them through a craft or a lesson, and the ladies come up to me with tears in their eyes and say, thank you so much for what you bring to us. And I'm like, I'm just the goofy lady with the art supplies, and when they graduate from the program, I always get an invitation. So that makes my heart grow. And I've also been invited to go out. We have a homeless community. And so once a month I go out there, and same thing, I take my art supplies and I just get to love, I call them my friends. I get to go out there and love on my friends that live in that community, and I play worship music, and just get to spend time with them. And I feel like, people always give me accolades, but I don't want to take the accolades, because I feel like I'm the one I'm going to get emotional talking about it, but I feel like I'm the one that really gets blessed to take art out there and meet new friends, and just encourage them and speak into their hearts. Because I've dealt with dark times in life. I've dealt with panic attacks, with anxiety, and art has always been my way to navigate through those times. And I'm a praying gal, and when I'm creating and have my favorite worship music going, that's truly when I feel like I can kind of talk to God. So one thing I always like to say is, even if you're not a big Bible reader, most people know in the beginning, God created the world. That's the first characteristic of God we learn. And like I said, I just kind of feel like that's part of my DNA, just like my freckles, is just sharing that creativity with people, whether it's at a fun paint party or whether it's just with some of my homeless friends in the community.
Man, that's so powerful. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Julie, for sharing that. How many of y'all have thought about, and again, we always talk about this, like it's more than just a paint party, right? We talk so much about this inside of Paint Party headquarters, is that it is way more than just a paint party, and how God is able to use you. I mean, you just did a party of 30 yesterday where you were paid handsomely. And then,
Nice.
And then twice a month, you're able to go donate your time to the causes that you love, not just doing anything, but doing exactly what you feel you were created for. And
yes.
I think that's the powerful like magic here, is how cool is that? And you said that you were like, we get to do what we love. And then you're taking it a step further and not just making money at it, but donating your time back. I know there's some ladies in Paint Party headquarters that they're retired. They just want to go out and help people. They're not even trying to do this to make money. And that's okay. It can be done anyway, but you get the benefit of doing both. So let us know in the comments if you're one of those people where you're wanting to do this, but you also want to be able to give back to your community as well. Okay, so I know you talked a little bit about anxiety, and I've been very open about my struggles. I've been struggling with anxiety since my mid-20s, and it's been definitely a battle. And I feel like it's kind of like a blessing in disguise, because there's so many good things that have come with my anxiety, and there's been a lot of crazy things that have come with my anxiety too. Do you feel comfortable talking a little bit about that?
Yes, most definitely. And actually, my husband gets a nice little cameo in my story. So like I said, I was always artistic, loved to scribble on anything I could when I was a kid. And then when I was had a great art teacher in high school. I think most of us probably have a great art teacher somewhere in our story.
We love those art teachers.
Yes, me too. And went on to college to be an art major. And then I actually stopped creating for about 10 years. I was in my early 20s and making pretty good money. And I thought, I don't need to play with my art supplies anymore. That's kind of childish. And so I stopped creating altogether for 10 years. And then got married, met the love of my life, my best friend, got married. And then life started kind of getting rough and was going through a lot of stuff. And that's where that anxiety, kind of was triggered, and some really debilitating panic attacks. The kind where I was on the floor crying, like just debilitating. And my husband always said, you always loved, to paint and to draw. And you always talk about how much you loved doing that. Why don't you just take a class, just to get out of the house and to not think about what was bothering me. So with his encouragement, I signed up for an evening class in my community, and that was actually my first step back into getting back into art, which led to me teaching paint parties, which led to me moving to Montana, which led me to joining Paint Party headquarters. So art has always been in my life, but it took me not creating anything for 10 years and kind of coming back to it. I don't know if anybody else can relate, but you have those doubts. Okay, well, I did that, but can I still do that? Can I still create like I used to? Can I still do those things? And even if you're not super, if you doubt your artistic skills, that's why there's all the amazing resources on Paint Party headquarters, the tutorials, the trainings, the step-by-step. So there's so many great tools, even if you doubt your artistic talent. But like I said, it was my husband's. Sometimes he gives me suggestions that I don't like, but that was a really good one for him. But it took me, I kind of say that I fell back in love with art. And that's also something that I love about paint parties is, you'll have somebody that's come to your party and you'll get to chatting with them and they'll say, oh, I haven't picked up a paintbrush, in 10 years. And then they walk out with a big smile on their face and then they sign up for your next paint party and your next paint party.
Oh my gosh, I love that. And I think too, there's a lot of times that people, it's like as a child, we fall in love with it. And then life gets busy, just as you said. And I'm so happy that your sweet husband like kind of pushed you back into that because, this paint party adventure led you to one class, which led you to, creating it as a job. Now it's your own business. Like, I mean, all just by taking that one step, and that's the thing I think that people get so scared of. They look at like, well, if I'm going to start a paint party business, I have to do 500 steps. No, like just do that one thing. Just paint the tutorial, see how you like it and then do the next thing. So I'm so glad you were able to find some healing through art. I know that is even today, like this is my saving grace when I am like, having a hard time or really struggling. I just crank up some music. And I'm the same way, Julie. Like, I feel like that's my time to hang out with God. Like, he gave us that, skill and that talent. And even if we're not the best artist, it doesn't matter. If it makes us feel good to create, and that's what it's about. So I thank you for sharing that. I know a lot of people, have that, like we both do, like we struggle with that anxiety, but there is a way to channel it. There's a way I feel like there are ways to use it for good. I know myself, some of my anxiety has actually helped push me in directions I probably wouldn't have gone if I didn't have it, where before I'd be like, didn't need done. Now I'm like, no, I got to get it done, and it can really help. So thanks for sharing that. Okay. So does anybody have any questions for Julie? Now, Julie has taught over 500 paint parties. She is using not only her art to help with her anxiety, she is using it as her business. She is using it to help the causes she loves. So let us know if you have any questions. And Julie, while they're typing up a couple of questions for you, is there, and Diane says, creativity is God's gift to us. What we do with it is our gift back to him.
Oh, I love that.
I think
I'm going to have to do a painted prayer with that. That's beautiful.
That is so beautiful. I love that. Yeah. And Deb says, say yes to one thing, then later one more. Yes, you do one thing at a time. I love that. Okay. So Julie, what would you give? So tonight is the last night. Like we have been talking about Paint Party headquarters all week. So this is it. Like we close the doors until September. And then, we help all of those wonderful people inside of Paint Party headquarters. So for those of you that are on the fence, you've been watching us all week, you maybe painted the sunflower, and you're like, okay, Heidi will just show up live 3 times a day, every day. I don't have to work. No, Heidi will not. We'll be live one more time tomorrow. And then I'm taking a break for a while. And then all the goodness will happen in Paint Party headquarters. So what could you tell? And Sue says, are your paint parties in person, online, or both? That's a great question.
The answer to that is yes. I've done virtual. I've learned, because of the lovely marketing, I've actually learned how to do digital, items so digital tutorials, art kits. I've had tremendous success with art kits. And one of the, I could go on and on. I know we have limited time, but 2020 was challenging for all of us. And I will not cry and I will not, but I am so thankful for Paint Party headquarters and for Heidi's holding our hands and encouraging us, because I pivoted in my business in ways I maybe would have never, or it would have been 2 years, 3 years, 4 years down the road. And I had a lady find one of my painting tutorials in Australia. And I was just
Wow.
flabbergasted and amazed by that. So there's so much inside of Paint Party headquarters, whether you are just getting started and don't even, need to, brush up on your art skills, or if you're somebody like I was, that had a ton of experience teaching paint parties but didn't know how to market myself, didn't know how to, how to make myself look professional. I struggled a ton with making sure I looked professional. And then you provided us with all these amazing, beautiful marketing, flyers and banners and things. So now I'm so much more confident in that. But no matter where you are in your art journey, as we've talked about, day one, or you've done this a while and you just want to expand your knowledge, there's so much in Paint Party headquarters. And then the community is so amazing. I know we all have said this, but they're just the camaraderie, the friendships, and we have a bunch of smart people in that group. Like,
A
we'll go and
lot of
post a question and I'm like, I would have never thought, like, just the generosity and the knowledge of the group is amazing. So I could go on and on, but if you're on the fence, I would just say do it. Because what if, going back to when I first taught my very first paint party, I was nervous. I still get a little bit of the butterflies. But what if I had never taught that first paint party? What if I had, or taken that art lesson when my husband encouraged me? This whole beautiful journey that I've been on, that I continue to get to be on, I would have missed that. So just take that first step. Just be brave, and I guarantee you'll walk away with amazing friends, a beautiful business, and just a way, if you are, if you want to look at this as your ministry, a way to that use that creativity that God gave us to just love on the world.
Oh my gosh, I love that. You are so good at speaking. Like, I
Oh,
feel sometimes I feel like bad speaking after you because I know I'm going to mess it
oh,
up. I'm gonna say a word wrong. I'm gonna accidentally pick my nose. Like, I'm very oh my gosh. That's okay. So Linda says, new to art kits, which ones do you suggest for a vendor event? I have one coming up and I haven't even started. LOL. What would you say to that, Julie?
for art kits, and it depends on your area. I'm in Montana, so anything with mountains, anything with bears or moose. I was chatting with another paint party member, or camping. I was chatting with another member who lives on the East Coast near the beach, and she's flip flops and flamingos, and so I think depending on your area. But I know that canvas paintings, all of Heidi gives us such great paintings, such on-trend paintings. So you could do canvas paintings. We have a ton of cute wood vendors that we work with. I know, Heidi, you just did the seasonal one that was so adorable.
I love that
Um,
one.
so I would say one of those two options. Ceramics come Christmas time. Oh my goodness, those are a great seller too.
Yes, and all of y'all in Paint Party headquarters, on Wednesday, I'm going to be posting, I have it on my calendar. I'm going to be posting all the breakdown of the prices I suggest for you to charge, of the things I think you should order. And yes, I know it's early, but that's how we do it in the Paint Party business world. We got to be ahead. Okay, so hey Tammy, hey Mary, we have so many people that are on here saying hello. Hello, Teresa. Jamie says, join, join, join. I don't think I'll ever leave. Jamie, we hope you never leave. I will just keep creating stuff and trying to help our whole, Julie has her own business, but she's also a huge part of the Paint Party headquarters team. So she's actually in there quite a bit helping as well. Okay, so Victoria says, Julie, how long have you been in Paint Party headquarters now?
So I have been around since day one. I was a founding member,
Yeah.
and it gets better with every day. I've been teaching paint parties since 2015, but yeah, I'm happy and proud to say that I've been a part of Paint Party headquarters since day one, May of 2018.
Did you get your mug yet?
No.
Oh, it should be on its way. I sent all of the people for the 3-year anniversary, and we have little presents going out to y'all. So if you don't get it in like a week, let me know, because it
Well,
should be arriving anytime now.
I saw you sipping on it and went, oh, I want one of those. So I'm glad that it's in the mail.
Yeah, it's in the mail. Okay, so Mary says, I'm in my second month, going to be on my third month. Absolutely love PPHQ. Heidi and all the teams are wonderful. And the PPHQ members are so genius and helpful also. Yes, definitely. An OG. That's so funny. Okay, so let's see. We have okay, so Teresa says it's my 2-year anniversary. Yo, so I said, yo. See, I told you I would not speak correctly after you, Julie. Okay, so Teresa says it's her 2-year anniversary. And thank you, Teresa, for that. Yeah, and so here's the thing. We have been around 3 years. We are celebrating our 3-year anniversary. So for those of y'all that are that have been thinking about, doing a paint party business, whether it's online, in person, or with art kits, this is what we are all about. Like, that's what we talk about all the time. And we really want to help you succeed. I feel like every day my job is to wake up and figure out how to help you make money with this. That's what, my mission is every day, to wake up and help y'all as much as I humanly possibly can. So we really have a heart to help you to make a go of this. I know some people in Paint Party headquarters, take their time. They want to go on their own pace. That is totally fine. Like, you can be a wallflower. Like, there is no wrong way to be in Paint Party. Well, there is one wrong way. If you're mean, we don't like that. We do not like that. No drama in this group. So we are drama free. I don't really deal with drama. So besides that, I mean, this is a place where we want to help support you. What would you talk about? What would you tell somebody, Julie, if they're scared, like, to start doing this? I know we've all had our fear and our struggles with things. What would you encourage somebody with?
I always like to joke that we can always borrow your courage, or you can borrow some of my courage if you need to. Borrow the courage until you have it, yourself. And do it before you talk yourself out of it. Because I have dealt with anxiety and dealt with panic attacks, I'm very, very aware of my self-talk, how I talk to myself. And as soon as I catch myself like, nobody will sign up for your event, nobody's going to want, I can almost, it's like the little devil and the little angel. As soon as I hear that track in my head, that little tape player in my head, nope, not, and I automatically go to something positive. So before you can talk yourself out of it, strike while the iron's hot, strike while you're motivated. And like I said, what instead of saying what might, what could go wrong, think of what might go right. Think of all the possibilities that are out there, because you will hear it over and over and over it. And inside of Paint Party headquarters, you'll see it and you'll see it. You'll see, the success, and you'll see, and it's hard to not compare yourself if somebody's been doing great. And if you're on page 1 of your story and they're on chapter 10, you can't really compare apples to oranges. But look at that as motivation. And like I said, just take that. If you need to borrow courage, but just don't let, life pass you by. I always try and live by the mantra. I would rather, like when my husband and I moved from Sacramento to Montana, from California to Montana, we didn't know anybody. And for a lot of people, that's a pretty crazy, jump in life. But I would rather try and have that attempt be shut down than to just sit there and in 5, 10, 15 years goes, I wish I would have tried that. And that's how I always live my life. I love adventure and I love journeys and stories. So let this be the first page of a great, great story that you're going to write for yourself. And if you start to hear those negative self-doubting words, jump into Paint Party headquarters and borrow Heidi's courage, borrow my courage, borrow anybody's courage that you need to.
Yeah, that's such good advice. Borrow courage, because, I listened to that Mel Robbins. I listened to her, her little snippets on YouTube, and talking about, how she was stuck in that, couldn't take action and all of that. And then she started thinking about like how many people it took to do like a rocket launch. And she started describing that. If y'all have not heard this before, just, go to YouTube, search Mel Robbins and 5 seconds. I think it's called the 5-second rule, which I know means like pick up food and eat it before 5 seconds. But there's also another one. But she really talked about it. And one day she was just like, I got a countdown, like it's launch day. And she started counting. She was in bed. She said it was a cold day. She, cold morning, and she was in bed and she started counting 5. And she goes, before my brain changes, I'm going to get up before this hits 1, and her feet hit before it hit 1. Like, she did it before her brain talked her out of it. Mm-hmm. And then, and she did that every day. And then she started making steps to it. Now she's this huge motivational speaker. And I think about, like, if she wouldn't have taken that that one step, like to just get out of her bed because she was in a funk. Like you almost have to like trick yourself or borrow courage to go do something before you talk yourself out of it, because our brain is wired to keep us safe. Our brain is wired to when we have that feeling of anxiety, or we have that feeling of, oh my gosh, can I do this? Can I not do this? Like our brain immediately starts to like put us in that, that mode of, okay, protect us. That's scary. Protect us, right? But then you look at Julie, living in Montana, wearing the cute hat, teaching, hundreds of paint parties. And if she would have never taken that first class, like it just amazes me. Like it amazes me what one little step can lead to this entire creative, fun, artsy life you have now. And just think, you're so young. Like think of how many decades of cool stuff you're going to get to do because you took that first step. It's just amazing.
Yeah. And I also, I thank you for thinking I'm young and cool and hip. But if I would have never taught that first paint party or had the courage to even think, can I teach paint parties? Then I would never be blessed with the opportunity to go and, share my passion of art with people, ladies in recovery or the homeless community. So, yes, the income is great. And yes, living the artistic, fun lifestyle is awesome. But what feeds my heart, like I said, is sharing that art and having those people come up to me. And I feel like they kind of, I hope that they see a little bit of God in me. But like I said, that for me is what is the reward. And I'm so thankful that I did teach that paint party, that I borrowed courage, that I took that big gulp, and just stepped into that role and did it. For me, and this sounds so funny, one of the hardest things for me to overcome was getting a business card that had my name and artist underneath it. And I know that sounds so goofy, but my husband we'd be talking to somebody and they'd go, oh, he'd go, my wife's an artist. And I'm like, no, I'm not, and just dismissed it. But when I stepped into that, and like I said, it's just like my freckles, it's as part of me. And then I could go, and especially when I teach paint parties, you have people that come to you. They're so nervous. They're so scared. They think they're going to have the ugliest painting in the whole room. They think everybody's going to laugh at them. So I share my courage with them and say, it's going to be great. It's going to be fun. Don't worry about it. I'm a great teacher. You're in good hands. So I can share my courage with them, and then they have a blast and create a beautiful painting, and then go tell their friends about it and share the encouragement with others. So always go back to, you could always live in a headspace of, it'll always go wrong, nothing will ever come my way. But instead change that to, what if it does go right? What if people love painting with you? All those doors that could open.
Oh my gosh, I love that. One of my favorite sayings that I say at paint parties when I teach them, I say, ugly paintings are bad for business. So don't worry. You ain't leaving with an ugly painting, because I want to make sure. And then also, like, I wrote this on my arm today, and I think it, you're worthy. And I think it, like you saying, stepping into you calling yourself an artist made a big deal. I know for me, I always felt like an artist, but whenever I started my business, I had this kind of like really, I remember somebody saying company one time, and I remember going, oh, I'm going to start calling Texas Art and Soul my company. And then I got to step into it. It's almost like when we say it's our business, when we treat it like a business, when we start to we step into it, just like you're stepping into it as an artist, you start to take more pride and more ownership in that. And then it gives you that courage to go, wait a minute, I am. And then before you know it, you look back and you're like, well, heck, I am an artist. And I'm like, well, heck, I did build a company. Like, this is cool stuff, but if we wouldn't have, stepped into it or done that, we would have never had that opportunity. So that's pretty cool. That's really cool. Okay. So Francine says, I'm the same way about the word artist. Oh, so Francine, I know you're an artist. I see your profile picture with you holding a beautiful painting. So you just start to claim it, girl. I love that. And Karen says, I love hearing your story, Julie. I'm in Sacramento and I've had my mobile paint party business for 5 years. She said, I rejoined, yay, paint party headquarters again to revamp my passion for painting. Love all the encouragement I get from Heidi. That's awesome. Okay, so let's go ahead. I want you, and Deb says, the accountability groups are so helpful. when you're feeling defeated, go talk to them and they'll rally around you and you're back on track. Yeah, we actually have on Wednesday, we have our 11 a.m. Central, which we change the dates we change the times every month, but 11 a.m. So those of y'all that are joining, this is the last night to join. You'll be able to be a part of that accountability group this coming week. So we're really excited about that. I think that that term artist really connected with a lot of people, Julie. I think that
good.
Yeah. It really makes people, it makes them think about it. I think a lot of times it's that feeling of like, who am I, or I'm not good enough to say I'm that person. And where I'm kind of like you, Julie. I'm like, think about the good part of it. Like, who am I not to be? And like, what happens if this does go right? Because we're going to have failures. We're going to have times that we struggle and we have to pivot. As well as I know, we had talked about this back at Dollywood, 2020, that was the year of pivot, not for just paint party business owners, but for the entire freaking world. So it wasn't just, oh my gosh, us as paint party business. It was everyone. But one thing I know for sure is that people want to create, they want to gather, they want to get together. And there's no better way to make a living than doing what we get to do. So
I agree.
Okay. So tell us where they can find you. I know a lot of people are going to want to check you out, maybe go give you some love on your Facebook page or your YouTube. So share where they can find you and then we'll close out.
So Facebook, Instagram, and my website is Paint Party with Julie. I try to keep it as simple as I can. So easy to find me, Paint Party with Julie.
Paint Party with Julie. And there's no like weird spelling, so you can easily find her and go follow some of her stuff. And then also for all of y'all that have been thinking about Paint Party headquarters, I just want to, there is no pressure here. We are here to open the opportunity. If you want to learn, I always think about risk versus reward. Yes, I know it's $37 a month, but you can look at it as, I was talking about it yesterday. I took Pixie to Starbucks with her friend and we spent $21 and we have nothing to show for it. So I want you to think about risk versus reward. Like, what is the risk of spending $37? Really nothing. What is the reward of the potential of what could happen? And then think about that next step, just like Julie took way back when her husband, encouraged her to take that. We're giving him lots of shout outs. He's going to, just when she took that leap of faith and took that after 10 years of not creating and then took an art class, and that art class has led to over 500 paint parties and now just doing so much with the community and the things that she really loves to live for. And I don't know. I just love your life. I just want to, I think Bobby, he's like, we need to go visit Julie in Montana.
I heard a quote once and it says, if you love life, life will love you back. And I know life is hard and I know not everything is simple and adulting is a challenge. But I truly believe that if you love to create, if it brings you joy, it'll help you love life. And then you'll turn a day, you'll wake up a day and life is loving you right back.
Yeah. And it's all about perspective too. The last thing I'll say about this too is I shared a story about me and Pixie in the grocery store and we were checking out and the guy in front of us, immediately he reaches the cashier lady and he's like, if you don't start getting these beers and bottles, I'm not going to come here anymore. And the lady's like, could care less, right? If the beers are in bottles or cans, he's still buying the 24 pack of cans. And so, she's just kind of like, well, I'll ask him, and the whole thing was grumpy and you could tell she could care less. And I was like, I'm going to experiment. And so we walked up and I was like, hey, how was your day? And she's like, oh, good. And, we just started talking about stuff and, Pixie started bagging the groceries and, it was just a fun, friendly conversation. And, and she like mentioned, make sure you have a great day. And I was like, yeah, because in Texas, we're very overly friendly, except for that grumpy guy. And so then, so we get in the car and I'm talking to Pixie about it. And I'm like, did you notice how we had the exact same experience, the exact same mechanics of that moment, right? Checking out at a grocery store. And one of us left angry and upset and made somebody else angry and upset. And then we chose to go, no, let's see how we can, share God's love, even in the line of a grocery store. How can we be sweet to people? And I think it really is true. Like, and your quote, I think that is so, so powerful. Like, we get to choose every day how we wake up and live this life. We can live it being mean and grumpy and everything is bad on our side and nothing's going to work out, or we could not. We could choose not to be that old man in the grocery store upset about his beer not being in the right format. Like think about how you want to live your life, and I want y'all to stop making excuses for age, for where you're living, for whatever. Like there is something to be grateful for where you're at right now, and there's a moment every day to wake up and choose to look at it differently. So I'm very excited for y'all. And Julie is a huge part of Paint Party headquarters, and she's going to be there helping you as well. So for all of y'all that are ready to join, just type the word join, and we can get you the link. And we've also posted the link because tonight's the last night. But I'm just so happy you're here. Thanks for being here and sharing.
Thanks for inviting me. This was a ton of fun.
All right. And make sure you go follow Julie on Paint Parties with Julie. And we'll see y'all next time. And all of y'all that join, I'll see you in 20 minutes. We're going to have a meet and greet via Zoom. So I'm going to see you here in about 20 minutes. All right. Bye, guys.